Hi, I'm Roland with Impress Computers, and today we're going to be speaking about one of the most important assets to your company, and that is your data. I've got with me Marlon, and he's from our MSP IT team, and he's going to be discussing the best way to protect your data. Welcome, Marlon.
Thank you.
Over the past 20 years, Impress Computers has been supporting companies and protecting them from their data. One of the biggest impacts that we've seen is when companies lose data.
Right.
And that can be from floods, it can be from fire, theft, ransomware. So that's one of the biggest things that a company is going to struggle with. 50% of the businesses that have catastrophic data loss end up not being able to recover it.
Yeah.
So there's so many different types of backups that you can do. So let's go through some of them.
Sure.
Plugging in an external hard drive or a USB drive or even a NAS drive. What are the downsides with just doing that type of backup?
Sure. So basically, if you have a NAS, for example, and let's say you have it on the network, one of the machines gets infected, and that scenario goes for what the device is plugged in if you're using an external drive. That kind of spreads across like a root from a tree. So everything.
So the ransomware is going to come into one machine, and then it's going to infect your backup. So you just have multiple copies. In fact, I think we had one CPA firm came in where they had 6 computers, 6 individual USB drives. All of them got impacted.
Absolutely.
But then we also had during Harvey, the companies that had that plugged
the flood. Yeah.
It flooded. Well, guess what?
It's the same scenario, yeah. So basically, there are multiple ways to back it up. I think if you're a company, you should have more of a robust business class backup. And this is why we have come with the resolution to provide this cloud backup software. Now, the beauty of this backup, as opposed to, for example, you have other companies such as like Backup for All or what's the other one called?
CrashPlan
Pro, Dropbox, even people using Dropbox or Google Drive. Let's say their email gets compromised or the computer gets compromised and it's synced locally. For example, Dropbox does that. You can do a local sync with the machine and it goes up in the cloud. That gets compromised. Everything up there will start doing the same.
So that would help you in the case of restoring if your hard drive fails.
Absolutely.
But if you get hit with ransomware, then everything's impacted.
You're gone. With the backup solution that we offer here at Impress, basically, not only does a backup locally, does a backup in the cloud, and our 24/7 NOC support tests the backups every week. So we had an instance of one of our plumbing companies. They had a new employee, and that same day, she managed to click on a bad link, it got spread across, and the whole company was down. We basically managed to get it back up and running in 24 hours.
Now that's because it's also an image-based backup.
Absolutely. Yes.
So there are cloud-based backups.
But it's only data.
That's just data.
Which is Backup for All, which is Dropbox, OneDrive, Google Drive, and CrashPlan Pro does the same purpose. It's only data.
There's Carbonite. It's just
Carbonite.
Data.
Yep. They all serve the same purpose, which is data cloud synchronization.
So it's better to have a data backup than no data backup. But if you have to restore from that.
Absolutely. And some of these offer restore points. So if you get hit with ransom, for example, you can go maybe a couple dates back. And there's a caveat with that. Maybe you had important files and you want to go back the day before. That's not available. You won't be able to do that. Or you can go way further in time, but you can't go like a week before, and you have to recoup all that work. With our cloud backup, basically, it's not only tested, but it can be recovered basically any day of the week. So if you got hit yesterday, today we can go back in time to last night, and basically it gets back up and running. Depending on the size of the data, this particular server took about 12 hours. We left it overnight.
And that was terabytes and terabytes.
Absolutely. And go ahead.
And because it's image-based, we've seen it where people have had Carbonite or CrashPlan Pro, just data.
Yeah.
you guys had to rebuild the entire server.
Absolutely, yes.
Reload all the programs, get with their software vendors.
So you got downtime not only on getting the data from the cloud, and just so you know, in the past, in our experience, we've used some of the clients we've seen CrashFund Pro that takes forever to sync everything back, and it's just data. With our cloud synchronization, we bring the image back. So if you get flooded, as an example, or if you get hit with ransom, literally brings the image back into that same chassis, and basically it's everything back up and running. Or if you're going to move from one server to another and you want to preserve everything, but they are just upgrading the hardware part of it, the chassis, that can be done as well. You grab the image and you dump it into that new chassis. But basically, yeah, overall it's a far better solution, way more robust. Like I said, 24 SOC helps a lot testing these backups.
Because one of the other biggest mistakes we've seen people make, if nobody's testing the backup, the last thing you want to do is test a restore.
Absolutely.
When you're in the middle of a disaster.
We've seen where maybe the backups worked a month ago. How do you recoup?
It stopped working.
Absolutely. How do you recoup from a month of that? Now, I also want to talk about the architectural people. So companies out there for construction architect firms and stuff like that. We work a lot with these blue collar companies here at Impress. And basically, we're pretty familiar. And same goes with CPAs like QuickBooks and stuff like that. With architectural firms, we've seen a lot of downtime if something goes sideways. And for example, I'll just give you a quick example. They have Revit. It needs to be updated. Maybe you're adding an add-in to it. Basically, that takes a lot of the time. If you have like a big firm, we basically work with deployments, go to each one of the machines. If an add-in we've seen a lot to where it's not working, it may need updates, not only on the add-in, but the video card. Make sure that your video card is up to specs and all that good stuff. Basically, it goes all the way around. But I think with our cloud solution for backups, it changes the whole game overall.
And I think also the fact that you can spin it up as a virtual server in the cloud.
Absolutely.
So if the whole place burns down, you can't get to it for a week.
You can set up a VPN while it's spinning in the cloud and get the users temporarily in there if it's really detrimental. That way they can connect to that temporarily and get server backup provided.
Well, that's excellent advice. And,
absolutely.
Hopefully the people that are in the area are going to listen to it.
Absolutely, yes, sir.
Start backing up their data.
Yep.
Marlon, thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for watching. Marlon, thank you for your input.
Thank you.
And we're going to be bringing up more of these informational videos to show you how you can protect your data, protect your network, to keep you up and running, keep the bad guys out.